Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning and happy birthday to you.
Thank you. It's not
I know.
today. It was yesterday, everybody. So don't get crazy. My birthday was yesterday. And because my birthday was yesterday, someone gifted me this new chakra mug, which, as you can see, is totally cool and colorful because the cup is hot. And once the cup
Wow.
becomes cold, which I will be able to show you by the end of the episode, this all gets it's almost all black when it's cold.
That is so cool. That is
So
awesome.
thank you to
Very cool.
Margaret. Thank you to Margaret. Thank you to Doris, who got me these lovely earrings. I have new earrings, new coffee mug. It's a
Wow,
good,
new woman. I love it.
yes, yes.
So, how did you celebrate your birthday?
So we went to my friend Lara, who is from Milano, Italia, has a restaurant in Pompano Beach called La Forchetta. Free advertising here for Lara. If you live in the Pompano Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Broward County area, I highly recommend you go check it out. And so sweet, she even surprised me with, she made she crochets, and she crocheted a purse for me,
Wow.
and basically got the whole entire restaurant to sing me happy birthday while I was eating my delicious pistachio cake.
Wow.
And but went with a few of the besties and just had a really beautiful, relaxing, delicious, glorious evening.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
Amazing. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you, thank you. And have you been? You're on the mend, I hear. Your voice sounds better.
Getting better, getting better. I did spend some time Friday after Thanksgiving at an outdoor market, which on the one hand was good to get some fresh air and a little bit of sunshine, but the weather here again, I know I talk about it all the time. It's so interesting. So in the sun, you feel good, you feel vibrant, you feel alive, and in the shade, it feels like nuclear winter. So it was a lot of back and forth, a lot of
Well,
trying to find the sweet spot. But it was really cool. And then actually this Friday is even more exciting because it is the opening reception for my gallery show this month, which is very exciting. At the Cherokee County Arts Council. So today and tomorrow are load-in days, get everything up on the walls and get everything ready to showcase. So I'm excited. It's been a long time since I've had all my stuff up all together on a wall, and I'm excited to share the everything with everybody.
I am sure everybody is going to be wowed by your work. I just remember your studio down here. You had to have heard it from people, but I heard it from people a million times, how amazing all your photography is. And your line of taking that, you take pictures of who you are, not what you look like. That's what you get when you see the photo. You feel like you see the truth of who that person is.
Oh, thank
I
you.
recently had some headshots taken, and I'm not going to say any names or nothing, but every time anybody else takes my photo, I am always reminded nobody takes a photo like Graciela. And so
Thank you.
um
I will say the exhibit is more about like how do you decide who to love, who to hate if you don't have labels, So as much as it is my work, it's less about it's less about my photography and more about seeing people for them as human beings, right? And if I don't tell
capture
you,
that with your photography. So
right?
not everybody can. Not everybody can. So just
Well,
accept it.
thank you. And so I have a very diverse portfolio, and so I'll have a nice diverse show. And my theme is basically like, okay, if I don't tell you who's a Democrat, who's Republican, who's divorced, who's married, who's a mom, who's not, who's, you know, gay or straight or whatever. Like, if I don't put these labels there for you, how do you know, you know, how do you know? What are you going to do? How do you decide? Right. And so isn't it all just arbitrary? So anyway, I'm looking forward to a really exciting conversation. I think it'll be really cool. And I'm excited to chat with everyone about it. See what it stirs up.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Ah, all right. So today is another show, and just reminding everybody, if you have requests on topics on what you want to talk about, want us to talk about, and I'm sure the algorithms are going to capture that, me with my tongue sticking out there for a moment. But if you have special requests, send them in. And today's episode is because of a special request. And, you know, I made the title fun, Standing Between Mountains, what no one tells you about the next level of growth. But it was one of our regulars who asked, you know, she's on this path of growing and growing, and like, you get all excited, you're climbing this mountain, you get to the top, and then you look ahead, and what's there? Another mountain. And it can be a little intimidating, a little frustrating, a little, you know, fill in the blanks of all the emotions that you can feel when you get to like this goal that you were working on, and you feel so accomplished when you get there, and then that accomplishment can end up like getting lost because all of a sudden you see like, I'm not at the end. And I think that is a super important reminder for everybody that this life is not a destination. There's not just like one place that you're getting to, one goal that you accomplish, and then you're done, you're complete. It's a journey. And the exciting part is like that second mountain, you didn't even know it existed until you got to the top of one mountain. And so I think the greatest tool that you can ever have is just to remember that this is not a destination, it's a journey. And just enjoy all the steps of the journey, because there is no finish line until you die. That's the finish line. Other than that,
I think I whenever we talk about, you know, this exact topic, I always like to say, like, it is not your fault that you think there's a finish line, right? You, the greater you, right? Because our whole society is built around goals and steps and milestones, right? You turn double digits, or you graduated middle school, and then you graduated high school. And each time you get, you know, we're constantly striving. So we're striving to reach this particular level in our lives. And then when you get there, it's like, oh, I can only take a break for a second because now there's another level, right? So like something I'm sure everyone can relate to is graduating from middle school to high school. You know, when you leave middle school, you're like big fish, little pond. You're now at the top of the class, and you're the oldest, and you're the coolest. And then you walk across the street and head into high school, and all of a sudden you're a little baby again, you know? And in a lot of ways, that's just all of life, you know? I
so
wish we
something
would about that transition, you know, that there's always a transition, and there's always something happening, right?
Well, and I think because you're talking about like in school when we were kids, you had summer break to sit and enjoy everything that had happened and sit in that space of like the transition and the space of the wonder and the curiosity of what's to come. And I think like when we get to be adults, you get to the top of your mountain and you forget to take summer break and just take it all in and enjoy and have fun. And yeah, we just kind of go like straight from, okay, this one's done, got to do the next one. And then you get to the next goal, and then you got to do the next one. So I think it's really important for us, like when we get to one of our peaks that we had been striving for, to actually like just sit in it and take it in and enjoy it and appreciate ourselves and acknowledge ourselves for what we did, what we accomplished. That's
Well,
like kind of like to recharge your batteries too, to get ready for the next one.
and acknowledge the discomfort of the moment and be okay that it is uncomfortable. It's disorienting, it feels awkward, and maybe even some friendships no longer serve you, or relationships no longer serve you, or your job no longer serves you. There's a lot of change, and I always say, like, take it slow, like, don't run off and cut bangs or anything. give yourself give yourself a hot minute, and if you still want bangs a month later, then all right, fine, go cut your hair, right? But be comfortable in being uncomfortable, right? Or at least tolerant, right? Know that there is more. Know that this new you, per se, is evolving, and give it a minute. During COVID, I don't know if you remember, I became like a monarch butterfly expert. And because all I would do is sit home and watch caterpillars turn into chrysalis and turn into butterflies. And even the process of coming out of the chrysalis and, fully, what's the word I'm looking for? Unfurling the wings, right? And being able to be a butterfly that flies, right? Because when the butterfly comes out of the chrysalis, it is a butterfly, but its wings haven't been used yet, and they're still wet and crinkly. And so this little butterfly has to like pump all this liquid into the wings to, get it to unfurl. And then once they've unfurled, they got to dry for a little bit, So during that time, it can feel very vulnerable, and the butterfly is very exposed. It can't fly, and it certainly is not a good runner. So it kind of just has to pick a little shady spot and just wait it out, and that's not to say that the butterfly is not doing anything. It's not just sitting there. It's actively, slowly moving its wings. It's drying. I'm telling you, there is no metaphor that you can't use a monarch butterfly for. But at some point, it says, okay, there you go. Look at that. At some point, it is as it's as dry as those wings are as dry as they're going to get. And at some point, you just have to, take that big leap, right? To the next thing, whatever the next thing is.
And I was showing Graciela my card. One of my birthday cards last night said it was a policeman pulling over a butterfly, and the butterfly hands the driver's license, and it's a piece of him when he was a caterpillar, and the butterfly is like, that's an old photo of me. But and what you're saying too, like in my private sessions with people, each session we go through a lot of changes, and I basically tell them the same thing, like, your body is a completely different body than when you walked in here, and you now need to give yourself a chance to integrate those changes before you go out and try and do the most challenging things. So choose things that are easy, that are comfortable as you get accommodated and comfortable in that new you before you go out and try the challenging stuff. Because it's kind of like a baby coming out of the womb. It doesn't know how to walk. It takes a lot of time, like learning its body so that it can go out and walk and move and do things. And so patience with ourselves is hugely important on this journey of growth, of healing, of transformation.
Yeah. I saw someone the other day, I forget what it was, me, probably a TikTok. But it said, when you feel uncertain, when you're not sure what to throw your attention to or what to throw your energy into, whether it's a new hobby, a new sport, a new love, a new life, a new journey, whatever it might be, in that in-between space, in those liminal spaces, work on yourself, learn something, reflect, name it, right? Name the discomfort. And sometimes just having an awareness of that discomfort is enough to say, okay, I identify it. I realize that I am not it. It is separate from me. It is here temporarily. And what else can I find? And if you keep looking, you'll find that next space, right? And if you can't see it for yourself, if you feel stuck, lean back on your rituals. If your rituals, like, I don't know about you, but sometimes my rituals get boring and I'm like, okay, I need to switch this up. I've been doing the same thing for 6 months and, I need to just shift a little bit. And so I go out in the world and I'm looking for something new, a new experience, right? And try that for a while. And sometimes it's just reigniting, that part of you. I've lived 1,000 lives, in this particular lifetime. And each time there's a lull and then there's, that new journey, but it shouldn't feel like a torturous climb. So look for your community, look for people that are feeling the way you are, or people that have been there, done that. And just get a little inspiration,
And I think community is a huge, huge piece of this. And sometimes, like you said, sometimes we outgrow the people that are around us and we have to create that new community, which can be terrifying, especially for us introverts. And, I saw, since we were talking about it's my birthday, so yes, I'm a Sagittarius. And Instagram knows I'm Sagittarius, so it sends me all the post of, and there's this one, the therapist is saying to the Sagittarius, like, you should really try and get out there and meet more people and make more friends. And the Sag is like, I try to like the humans, but then they like breathe and talk and I just can't. So, if someone comes and tells me that it's a struggle to get out, I'm like, yes, I know it. I feel it 100%, because as introverts, we like our alone time. We like our space. We need that to recharge our batteries. But I also know, even though I'm an introvert, I do need community around me. And yes, there are plenty of humans out there that I do like, but I am very intentional about who I choose to spend my time with, and making sure that it's people that I feel good, that I can be authentic around. And, I remember in my younger days, like trying to be who I thought I had to be to fit in with the people that I was around. And it was just like, you just want to crawl out of your skin because it's not you. And, I think as an adult, we are in that space where it's okay for us to choose who we spend our time with. And someone doesn't feel good, move on.
Yeah. I think there's also much to be said for the introverts. Hey, if you want to spend, a week at home going no contact and reading books, do that, right? Recognize what is it that recharges your battery? What is it that gives you new life and new excitement? If you are a horse person, go be with your horse. If you are a nature person, go be in nature. We always talk about retreats and leaning on retreats. Everybody needs a minute to walk away from their craziness, and part of it is finding that quiet time. When my daughter was really little, I had taught her like singing bowls and things like that. And one day she was really mad about something, and so I sent her to her room to just reflect. And I hear her take the singing bowl, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, she's going to do the singing bowl. This is going to be great. And thank God it was a metal one, because she took that mallet and she went whack and smacked it as hard as she could. And then she would yell at me, Mom, it's not working, because she was so mad. And I'm like, honey, you got to quiet the mind. Like, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's not so much in the doing as it is in the sitting and the breathing.
Yes. And also, like, in that space of sitting and breathing, like, we get to the top of the mountain and then we see this other mountain in front of us and we think we just have to go and climb that mountain. But the question is, like, is that mountain actually calling you? And take a moment and look around. Like, there might be 5 different mountains in front of you, and maybe the one directly in front of you isn't the one that's calling you. Like, look at the other mountains. Maybe one of them is the one that you're actually supposed to climb next. And so, if you see that mountain and it's not calling you, and it's just like the other people like behind you cheering you on, yeah, go do it, go do it, go do it. But if it's not calling you, don't climb it.
Yeah. And no regrets, like whatever your choice, there's a lesson in it. So whatever is next is next. And if you quote, choose the wrong thing, if you go down this one path and you're like, man, that didn't turn out the way I thought, double back, bro. It's okay. Turn around, go back, go a different way, try something else. It's okay. No one
and if
is,
you're going down, like grab the sled, just slide down, make it easy.
enjoy it. Someone once told me, there's no one standing behind you, taking notes, writing down everything that you're doing, and, scoring your actions in life. It's okay to make mistakes and make big mistakes and, figure out, okay, well, now I know how not to do that. Now I'm going to try something different. And, what the crazy part is that what works in one part of your life doesn't always work in the other part of your life, right? Risk taking is better off in this area and not in that area. You really gotta, just today, as a matter of fact, I'm on my way somewhere and I'm gifting someone our Living Aligned journal because it's such a great tool to kind of like reset. And honestly, you could do the journal like 6 times. You get a different answer every time, right? Because you're a different person every time,
At least I hope you would, because if you repeat and you're staying the same person, I feel like something's wrong. Like,
I don't think it's possible. I mean, right? Like if you're a miserable person and you stay miserable, you're actually becoming more miserable. So even that is change. Sorry. You can't like you can't escape the change. You just can't. So
I love that. That's an amazing gift to give anybody. And Christmas is coming up. We do have more copies of our Living Aligned journal. If you need one, it's a great gift to give yourself. And it's an amazing gift to give someone else who's on their path and really like searching and trying to discover who their true self is. We just get programmed so much to think we have to be a certain way, we have to do certain things. And I feel like part of current times is for us to release the programming, break free from the programming, change and make our own programming, because the world needs the authentic, unique version of you. There is only one of you, even though the world is trying to make us all carbon copies of each other. You are unique and special, and there's many ways to do it. Ben Watts wants to know, where is the best space to order it? And Ben, thank you so much for tuning in and listening. I will put the link in the show notes, but it is on our Body and Soul Events.love website. Our little store is in there, and you can find it in there. And but I do think that journaling is one of those really powerful tools to like converse with ourselves and discover ourselves, because a lot of us have zero clue of who we are. And even like those of us that have discovered these unique pieces of ourselves, like as we evolve, we start to realize like, oh, here's another undiscovered piece of the truth of who I am. And let me embrace that now. Because what is true from you for one day is true from where you're sitting at your perspective. But you move, your perspective changes, your truth changes.
And for people that don't like writing and you don't actually like journaling, like don't limit yourself to how things are supposed to be done. It's the millennium. You can take your phone and use a voice memo app, and you could go on Zoom and record yourself and then have it transcribe it for you, right? Like you physically don't have to type. You physically don't have to pick up a pen. If that feels like work to you, and I get that, think how you can accommodate this reflection time, right? This conversation with yourself. And so if you're that person walking down the street talking to yourself and that serves you, then perfect, you're doing it right. Again, social media, what I love about therapy in the millennium is that back in the day when I was growing up, our line was, do not tell anybody your problems. Don't tell anybody anything. Going to a therapist is ridiculous. Like, it was all about hold it in, smile, and move on. And this generation is like, hey, on social media, hey guys, I went to therapy today and here's what I learned. And it's like mass healing other people. I love where we are in society. And so one of the tips that I saw was someone who was suffering from depression and told their therapist, I don't, like, I'm hungry, but making a sandwich is just too much. It's just too much work. I can't bring myself to do it. And so the therapist said, well, what if you just ate like a slice of bread and a slice of ham and a slice of cheese? And they're like, huh. And once the therapist knocked out the idea that you have to build this sandwich, then the task became so much easier, right? So deconstruct your sandwich, deconstruct your journaling, deconstruct your ritual, whatever it might be, right? If you can't, like for me, I know that I'll go through phases where I'm like, okay, I don't have 30 minutes for my ritual in the morning. Okay, what can I do in 1 minute? What can I do in 60 seconds? What can I do while I brush my teeth for 2 minutes, and then the other thing that I wanted to share was our Fifth Horizon cards, which this is volume 1, volume 2, 3, and 4 are in production. But the other day, a local colleague was telling me how, in her space, even though it has to do with marketing and tourism and things like that, people come and sit at her desk, and everybody needs a little therapy session once in a while. And so she's, I had gifted her this pack, and so she was telling me how she pulls it all the time, and she's like, okay, let's wrap this up. What's the message you need for today? So this little, I say little, but they're 3x3, and it's a nice juicy sized deck, and it's got messages.
Pull a card for our audience today.
Let's see. We will pull a card. Let's see. They're so shiny and like smooth too. I love this, like the texture of it. All right. It is, you are absolutely amazing.
I love the word amazing. I once was part of a woman's like group coaching training kind of thing. And every meeting we would do this little thing where we would say, I am awesome. And I was like, no, I'm not awesome. I'm amazing. And I don't know why, like the word amazing just resonates. Words have frequency, words have vibration, and awesome isn't my vibration. Maybe it's yours, and that's fine, but mine is amazing. And yeah, sometimes people make fun of me a little bit because I do like to use the word amazing. And I also think that there can be amazingness in the nothingness. Ben and I are so in alignment here. He's like, amazing might be his favorite word. Nice. I'm like, amazing and magic, I think, are the two words that I use the most. And then there's love. Probably love comes first, then magic, and then amazing. Those are like my words. But I think also sometimes people want to reserve those words just for like the really big things. And what if we saw the amazingness in the little tiny mundane things, who said, there's the, it's like brain fog, but seeing the miracle in everything. Do you know what quote I'm talking about? Someone in the audience knows what quote I'm talking about, but and we got Laura Linton. I feel like this is so amazing today that we have people that are tuning in and participating. That has always been my wish, for participation from the audience. So thank you guys for showing up and participating in our game. But yeah, see the miracle in everything, and notice, sometimes I'm like, even the trash can be amazing.
Yeah, Absolutely. I mean, there's a miracle everywhere around you, but you can't see it if you don't stop. So you got to stop and look. That's for sure. But I'm very excited about this topic, and I'm excited for folks that are feeling that standing between the mountains, because it just means that you accomplished something big and wonderful and amazing, and you're not the same person you were a year ago, much less 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And just think of what your future self is going to be. I think Matthew McConaughey said that he's never comparing himself to anybody, but he's always chasing his future self. He's always looking forward to, okay, what is, Matthew 10 years from now looking like, and how can I help him get to where he wants to be? How do I get out of his way, so that I'm not holding him back? So that's really exciting.
So, do you have any final tip for our listeners who are in that in between the mountains? And yeah, what's a good tip?
My final tip is, don't despair, follow your true north, seek inspiration, find the magic.
Yes, find the magic. Absolutely. Because it's everywhere. Magic is everywhere. So, all right. I think this has been a really good show. I hope the listener that requested it got what she was asking for. And if not, I'm sure I'll hear about it on the other side. But if anybody else out there has something that you want Graciela and I to talk about, because we love to talk about anything and everything. And yeah, just send us a message and we would be happy to do that for you. And I guess with that, I'm going to wish everybody a magical day.
All right. Bye, everybody.